Pickacard. Why are you a spiritual baddie? Here are your options, and I'll see you at your reading.
Okay.
Hi friends, my name is Griselle with Toughdolltarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 1, you chose this lovely image on the right-hand side of the screen, and your downloads go as follows. Why are you a spiritual baddie? This is inspired by the Oracle of Lilith. So you can go view her channel. I just thought it was a cool reading. But here we go. You're a spiritual baddie because you're very practical. Also, I got, if you guys have seen Nurse Jackie, Zoe from Nurse Jackie, there's an episode where she's talking to a doctor and she says, has anyone ever told you that you have a nice smile? And he just kind of looks at her. And I think somebody said no. And there was dead silence. So case in point, I feel like you could be really to the point. You could have a great sense of humor. You could have an RBF face. You may have honed the skill, in fact, of smiling but not smiling. Natural leader. Let's see. It says, oh, especially when it's against popular belief. Yeah. So if there are any causes that are going against the grain or issues that come up that arise, you are the first one to jump in and take the lead on things. You're the one that's going to speak out against injustices, defend the weak, I'm hearing the poor, the needy, the abused, you get the gist of that. So I definitely feel like you have an incredibly soft heart, but you could be a tough cookie to crack. People feel very unsure as to when you're going to be an ally or a foe. I don't know why it's put that way, because I don't feel like you're in direct opposition to many people, unless you have to make a point, or if you really feel like they're wrong. You're not going to just take sides because they sign your paycheck, because they are a family member, because they've been your best friend for 20 years. It's not like that. So I think that you're very, your standards and your ethics are definitely high. Okay. So let's see what else here. Okay. Especially when popular belief causes or reasons. Yeah, that's when you stand up. Your energy, your behavior, decisions are rarely affected by outside opinion. And that's what makes you a spiritual baddie, is that you can stand strong based on your own ideas, your own convictions. At the very end, I heard you take your vitamins, and you go to bed by 10. Ha! So quite the sense of humor. It could not be a fact, but maybe somehow your sense of humor pulls through in this manner. So anyways, if this is you, if this sounds like you, join me for the shuffle and your subsequent reading in 3, 2, 1. Welcome. If you're new here, I hope that you find something that is helpful or inspiring. For those of you guys that are indeed my repeat offenders, I am so excited. Thank you guys so very much for your support, your patience, all of your comments, your donations, all the things. So why are you a spiritual baddie? Pile number 1. You have sovereignty of fire. I'm really vibing with these cards, if you can't tell. They are called the Rosebud Tarot for anyone who's inquiring. And you have, wow, sovereignty of air. Now, definitely, I feel like you are somebody who seeks adventure. And I feel like you find it in the strangest places. I definitely feel like you find yourself in situations that are definitely odd. But people have come to expect the unexpected with you. Now, There's fire right here, so you have a lot of passion. This is even giving me the vibes of like the Fool card, where, you know, the Fool, we take chances, we take risks, and a lot of times they are calculated risks, but to the untrained eye or to people on the outside, that people could be thinking, well, that's kind of dumb or crazy or wild or whatever. So you could be that. Also a little bit of a daredevil. I like that as well. I like it overall. And then we have this person right here with the air elements. And actually this from up here is like the background that I have on my thumbnail. Oddly enough, I just noticed that. So very interesting. But what I find intriguing is it's like this throne, this door. I mean, I'm not sure if it's the back part of his throne or what's going on here, or if he's just simply sitting in front of a door. I love the mystery of that. I love that it's open to interpretation. I love that this is a little bit like heavy metal, like I wanna rock. So maybe you guys like to listen to heavy metal, maybe not. Something about you being incredibly intelligent. And what makes you spiritual, Baddie, is that you're willing to take risks, that you follow the glitter of life, that you follow the signs, okay? Of course, Ace of Base, I saw the sign. You could be one of those that you're like, oh, well, I was driving over here and I saw this like feather float to the ground and it was right within my vicinity. So I definitely feel like you look at the world with a little bit of a different view. Now, this looks like, you know, the pruning shears that we have. And there's a lot of beauty. I feel like you lend a lot of beauty to things that could be rigid, that could be normal. Somebody here is in the trucking business in one way, shape, or form. Maybe you provide like clothing. You're a clothing company that promotes like truckers or trucking. Maybe you have like a trucking company, or I don't know what it would be called, a fleet maybe. I don't know if that's called a fleet or something else when it's specified to trucking, or somebody has family members or drives trucks for a living. I don't know, right? But I definitely feel like there's a lot of movement, a lot of travel. And the fact that their lower portions are not really viewed or seen really gives me an illusion, or it alludes to more, that's a more correct term. It alludes to the fact that people don't really know where it is that you're going. It's like, what pavement are you driving on or riding on? Where are you headed, and where are you sitting on, and why is such a mystery? And we don't know. People have a lot of questions about you, and that's what makes you spiritual, Baddie, is that you're not afraid to sit in front of a door and maybe contemplate and separate. Okay, I need to get rid of this and that, and I'm going to travel light, and I'm going to do what makes me feel secure. And to other people, they might be like, well, pile number one, that's going to destabilize you if you're looking for security, but you're following your own intuition and you know what is right for you. And that's what makes you spiritual, Baddie, because 9 times out of 10 you are correct. And that one time that you are, quote, not correct, there are many lessons to learn, and you are meant to go there or do that thing anyways. So you're very proficient at reading spirit, at doing the things. Now, this crown right here, I mean, this is an old soul, but also a male that has the RBF face. So I love it. I love the whole thing. And of course, you could be like a fire sign, air sign, doesn't necessarily have to be. But let's see what else we have here. Why are you such a spiritual baddie? And I'm being told this is used in conjunction with a crystal ball. So we're going to do it. Velocity of Earth. Wow. Okay. Excuse me. So it's funny because it's almost like a catch-22, or I don't know, some kind of interesting metaphor. You guys could be like even English lit or loved English lit, or you teach English for a living. I don't know your life, or English is a second language. But the velocity of Earth, it's like, well, it's not very fast, right? And when you think about like the Earth suits, it's very like grounding, and it takes a while, and things grow seemingly without you noticing, and things also shrivel and die without us noticing as well. And I feel like you could have, you know, tenacity. Maybe you're a Taurus, by the way. So there could be something about you moving slowly, methodically. People don't see you moving, but the minute you make up your mind and people's backs turn, then you make your move. And I don't necessarily feel like you're waiting for people's back to turn, although it could be for some of you guys and in some instances. But I definitely feel like you have that, I don't know. that ability to break away from the herd, that ability to be different. There's not even a saddle that I can really detect, although maybe there is one. But look at the legs. I mean, this is not like a real jumping animal. So right away, okay, I'm getting cunning. So I'm looking eyeball, and then a face like a snout. It looked to me like a fox or even like a coyote. So people think that you are really in tune, but not only that you have a lot of agendas that you don't allow other people to be privy to. Yeah, so you could be quite cunning in the mind of other people, but that things bloom for you regardless, that they work for you very, very well. Also, people feel like you are an incredible baddie because there's a great mystery. Like when I look up like the shaman quartz, you know, lodolite, whatever you want to call it, there's a great mystery about this crystal as well. It's, why am I putting it to the side so you can see everything else? Here we go, right front and center. Don't look at my nails. Yes. And then I'm looking over here. It's like eyeball, and it's almost like a monkey face. I definitely feel like people have a lot of looky-loos. This looks like a person's face now. You have a lot of faces looking at you, and also that there's a lot of things in the past that really cause you to act, quote unquote, the way you act currently. I feel like you're a spiritual baddie because you've dealt with a lot of deception. You've dealt with a lot of looky-loos, a lot of people that wanted things from you that you weren't necessarily wanting to give, okay? And there's a big difference here. Now, for some reason, this to me now looks like a face of a person mixed with AI, and, you know, do that however you will. But it looks to me like this person has a laptop in there, you know, on it. I mean, if you're half AI, half like transhumanism, you probably won't need a laptop, but that's from my visual, I guess, right? For me to understand, for you to understand maybe. And so I definitely feel like you are connected to the ethers, to other things that other people simply do not understand. There could be, you could have a little bit of a dark Lilith energy. Guys, this reading is for you too. Don't like omit yourself because we're talking like female names and things. It's just an energy, right? That you really, in the end, don't need a lot of people. You don't need anyone. You tend to make your own decisions, and it is for a reason. Now I'm looking at this like claw. It looks like a crab claw. You could like crab, or you could have recently had a pail of crab. How do you call that? Anyways, but that could be something. Also, you're spiritual baddie because you've overcome. That's what it is. It's like, you know, crabs in a bucket when they fight each other. And they're like, you're not going to get to the top. I'm going to yank you down. And then I'm going to crawl on top of you. And I'm going to jump to the top. And then it's like each crab for themselves, right? Well, I feel like you survived a lot of that mentality, which is probably why you make your moves quietly. And I'm looking at ancestors right now in the background supporting you, by the way. And the crab claw right here alludes to the fact that perhaps pile number one, your spiritual baddie simply, not simply, but because you have survived a lot of ordeals, time when people just did not want to support you. And even perhaps maybe your claw in the fight, your crab claw, right, metaphorically, got removed, got like yanked off of you, and those claws like do rejuvenate, I'm told. Anyways, I don't know, the animal kingdom thing on TV tells me so whatever, right? I don't know much about that, but I'm gonna say, you know, that in the same way that that crab like survives and rejuvenates, it might be painful, it might be difficult, but they have to do whatever it is that they have to do at the moment in order to survive. And I feel like you're a fighter. You are not, I mean, you're definitely, like, I can relate to that, by the way. I can relate to people wanting to pull you down, people wanting for you not to succeed, not to rise to the top, not to be different, people wanting you to remain in that pail, or people wanting to rip off one of your crab claws, right? I think one is for crushing and one is for eating. I mean, I could be wrong on that, but it's like people want to get rid of like the majority of your talent any way possible. They want to incapacitate you some way, somehow, in order for you not to progress. And that's just not happening. So you've survived a lot. I feel like manipulation, a lot of gaslighting also is what I'm being told. And therefore you have to make moves in silence because other people have tendency to gaslight you for their own agenda, or even like make little comments or make moves like against you and not even realize that they're trying to sabotage you or they're not being supportive, right? And I feel like you are well aware of, I'm going to call it the human condition, okay? I don't know if that's a real thing, but we just made it up. I just feel like that is kind of a human condition and it shouldn't be, but maybe you've been surrounded by narcissists your whole life, or people with narcissistic tendencies. I do believe that we all have that on a scale. We all have a lot of things on a scale, right? It's never like 100% this or 0% that. I definitely feel that way. That is my thinking. I am not a mental health care worker or a doctor of any sort, so you will have to kind of come to your own conclusion here. But I definitely feel like, based on that you are incredibly inspiring. You inspire other people because of this tendency that you have escaped. You've escaped the barrel, and regardless of how many times they keep dragging you down and trying to yank off your claws, that, if they quote get you, whether it's by strategy or by coincidence, you allow that time to rejuvenate, and you do the best you can with the skills and tools that you have on hand, right? Just like the rest of us. So, pile number 1, if you are resonating with this, please do take a moment to like, share, comment, subscribe. I would really appreciate that. Also, those of you guys that have already done so, I am so grateful for you. Don't forget to click your little notification bell so you get notified when I drop further readings. Pile number 1, what is spiritual, Baddie? Energetic activation. Okay. Connect to the divine through meditation or prayer. Yeah. So you're definitely connected to spirit. You don't really question a lot. I feel like you go within to get your answers. And that's what makes you a baddie. It's like you make an assessment on the outside. You do have a barometer, right? You kind of tend to take a temperature of the weather, of the climate, of people's emotional climates as well. Before making your moves, and who you fill in on those moves. Yeah, you take a temperature and you decide how much you really share with other people and with whom and when, so are they safe and so on. So why are you spiritual, Baddie? Be open to change, be receptive to new experiences. Change leads to growth. Yeah, so you could, she's smoking a cigar here, so maybe she's connecting. Now, I'll probably forever, equate cigars to ancestors, because that's my mindset, and that's like when I smoke a cigar, although I'm not a real smoker, I just do it ceremonially. Not that you need to know, but I definitely feel like be receptive to new experiences, and that's what this tells me right here. And that you are able to really go through doors that seem pressed, oppressed, and compressed. That's not even a thing, but it's almost like that door is nailed shut, and it's like you ain't going anywhere. And with your mindset and with the guidance that you have, your internal barometer, your spirit chatter, that maybe your ancestors tend to talk to you and walk you through things like that, but you act on largely on intuition as well. I feel like you do just fine finding the correct doors and being open to change and being available for that. So that is what I have. Let me know what you think. Much love to you. Until next time, namaste.
Okay.
Hi friends, my name is Griselle with Toughdolltarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 2, you chose this lovely image on the right side of the screen, and your downloads go as follows. Why are you a spiritual baddie? Pile number 2, this reading is inspired by the Oracle of Lilith. So if you like our channel, tell her I said hey, or if you've never seen our channel, where have you been? Yeah, love our channel. So why are you a spiritual baddie? I got that you have, intrusive thoughts much? That was a question. So you could be someone that when you speak or you act upon your intrusive thoughts. And sometimes it could be comical, and sometimes it could be a little bit, for other people, maybe embarrassing. Or maybe you get embarrassed. I do personally about myself, so could be a thing. And let's see. I was watching a reel right before I started shooting, and I don't think I would say that word on this app, but anyways, there was this lady, and she was interviewing a mom with all of her children, and children were in the background. And the lady being interviewed says, I don't work. All my children have ADD. And the interview says, all different daddies. So you could be very much like a one-liner, or look for the, maybe not even like look for those opportunities. They just like come to you, and sometimes you vocalize them and you think, that was an interview. That was probably not the best thing to say, because you kind of shut down the heart of the interviewee, and so on and so forth. But I definitely feel, pile number 2, that you're somebody who speaks the truth, and you're a spiritual baddie because you have a lot of intelligence is coming through, a lot of humor, a lot of comedic timing is coming through. I feel like you could be someone that keeps people on the edge of their seats when you're speaking, even because they know that sometimes, one or two are going to slip by. And I'm getting, for some reason, it's like it's going to slip through, kind of like, I don't want to say this, but here we are. I'm like, it's going to slip through like sometimes like gas, okay? Like, oops, did I toot? That sort of thing. But you could have that sort of mind that is so quick, and you could sort of enjoy sometimes the reaction of other people, or you just want to share the amusement that you have in your brain. I don't know. But that could be a thing with you. You don't miss with words. Your MO is the medicine is in the poison. And I found this really, really powerful, because when you think of, somebody that is not feeling well or doing well, right away we think, oh, let's go to, big pharmacia, and let's, do whatever is best for this person, this patient, whatever. But seldom do we think about the origins or the root in some medicine that is rooted in like being part of the poison. I hope that makes sense. Anyways, like tiny doses of the poison could potentially be something that helps. So just an idea for you. It is not, it is not set in stone, but that could be like your mindset. And I feel like you do this metaphorically, not even with real medicine or even herbs, although some of you may, but more so in helping people to heal, drawing out the poison that's already there, helping them to see how caustic their lifestyle is, or their mentality is, or how on the wrong track they are in thinking the way that they do, and so on and so forth. Yeah, you are definitely a person who acts now and you take names later. So love that. So pile number 2, if this is you, or if this sounds like you, please join me for the shuffle and your subsequent reading in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, welcome. If you're new here, I hope that you find something that is fun or entertaining or helpful. And for those of you guys that are indeed my repeat offenders, I am super grateful to have you here. Thank you so very much for your love, your support, your donations, your comments. Even if you don't comment, even if you leave a heart, or even if you leave a finger. Just kidding. Why are you spiritual, Baddie? This is inspired by the Oracle of Lilith. So if you don't know her channel, please go to her channel. I think you would absolutely love it there. Until I said, hey. So why are you spiritual, Baddie? Pile number 2, you have the Life Giver with the 3. Ooh. This is giving me a lot of my favorite all-time deck, the Zombie Tarot. Now, we're not going to use her today because too much is too much, but I love that deck so hard. So the Life Giver, and you have the 5 of Air. So I'm going to tell you right now, I definitely feel like with a 5 of Air, that's like the 5 of Swords. And that could be like, let me win at any cost, or winning at any cost, or yeah, it could have that reputation. What does that say? Let's say, oh, vote for women. Okay. So maybe you could be an activist of sorts of some kind, and you don't care how it comes across. You are definitely going to be an activist, and you are going to be that in the, bring that into the front and forefront of any situation. Life Giver, 3. Maybe you have 3 children. I don't know why that's popping up, but she's holding like one child. Or maybe perhaps you believe in like the power of 3, which to me that could be like the Trinity, or the spirit of collaboration versus competition, right? I talk about that a lot on this channel. You could also be like a nurse or an EMT or something like that. But something about this is incredibly radiant. I definitely feel like you are a spiritual baddie because you could be an actual healer. You could be giving life, okay, in many different ways to different people. And what I'm actually seeing in my mind's eye is, yes, giving life, maybe giving birth, even if you're a male. Obviously, you're not going to give birth, but you could be obviously having children, and you participate in the you're a life giver. Without you, there would not be, right, a child in that instant. But you also, I feel like, give light and life and light to those around you. So I see you kind of like communing with people that are maybe older, like caretaking, and loving up on them in a way that indirectly you provide a light and a lamp and an inspiration. I'm hearing an agility. Okay. So maybe you help people to have that optimism and that pep in their step to continue on and to find something that really lights them up from within. And that's part of like your nurturing factor, your life-giving factor, your light-bearing factor, okay? So you really give this life force. Also, I definitely feel like you can commune with spirits. A lot of you guys can be like spiritual mediums. Some of you guys can say things that are even on people's minds or that they were just talking about verbatim. And when you walk in a room, then you just kind of repeat it, even if they were a whole different location. So perhaps some of you guys are really telepathic and you don't know it, or your intuition is on point and people get shook by this. And you're spiritual baddie because you hold, it's almost like 3 different realms in one. And we're in the 3D, right? We're talking about Life Giver 3. I feel like you bring life to the 3D world in a different manner than the 3D world would like to give it or present it, or keep people on a hamster wheel, continue chugging along without even thinking about breaking stride or breaking the matrix. And one thing that I just want to share with you, really quickly is, I mean, we all know and we all talk about how life is short and it's meant to be savored. And I feel like you are a spiritual baddie because you can see all the nuances. I see even a turtle right here that tells me that you have an ability to understand time and its effect on people and the mindset of it. And maybe perhaps you don't even believe in time. I feel like you have all different views of different, it's almost like you're interdimensional. Okay. That's why I'm having a hard time like formulating an idea here, a coherent one. But look at all the checkered flooring. So it seems like people, when they think of you, they think of you as being a spiritual baddie because you are a checker player. You're not even like chess. You're like, do we play chess or do we, I'm all checkers. Crystals Connect 4 do forgive, but I think you get my point. You are not a Connect 4 person. You are a chess person. And you can look at the board and you can make 16 moves in the future without having to write anything down or something like that. Or at least that's how it appears to other people. And also something about you could have a very beautiful aura, like your vibe, if you will, is on point. And you attract so many different people. I feel like different demographics. Okay, moving on. With the 5 of air, anyone in opposition to you, I'm just going to say it again. It seems to me like it's like you don't choose to oppose people, but you take up causes. And in doing so, people have to join or oppose. And there's like no middle ground. So you could have a lot of people that either love or hate you. Okay. And you're spiritual baddie because you've dealt with that your entire life. And you're like, well, here I am. Everybody else is in your drab dresses. And I got me a fur coat or whatever. What is this? That ain't no fur coat, G. Yeah, it is kind of a fur coat. It's a furry-ish coat. Okay. I don't know. Some kind of pelt maybe. All right, so let us actually do this card right here. Why are you a spiritual baddie? So this was a jumper and I had to take it. With the star card is one of my all-time favorite cards. I feel like healing. I feel like these two connect. This gives me the Empress and this deck. You hear Gogo snoring. But this is vast healing. I definitely feel like you provide a lot of healing to people, even without you knowing it. And I feel like you can be someone that kind of absorbs other people's pain or other people's mindset or suffering. Like you can be an emotional empath as well that you can absorb. And I just want to take a quick minute to remind you, it's important to observe, not absorb. I'm still working on that myself. So as I hopefully talk, I am learning as well. But you're a spiritual baddie because everyone wants a piece of you. They want to come and observe you. They want to, and some people actually do want to take your light. They want to, that's not good, G. But some people, I feel like, get so upset with you, upsetting the status quo or usurping the apple cart. I don't know why it came up like that. So maybe some people that are like old timers, or as the internet loves to call, like boomers or whatever. I just feel like for me, it's just like an age thing. I don't care what age you are, what era you're born. Are you open to change? And that's my thing. But maybe perhaps a lot of these people can, you know, feel enraged because it seems like you're working against them when in fact it really has nothing to do directly with them as a person. So you could have a list of enemies. I hate to say it that way. Now, that being said, with the star card right here, the number 17, you could be somebody that is in the healing arts, energetic healing. Maybe you read auras and things like that, but you're a spiritual baddie because I feel like you can see them coming a mile away, but you're incredibly beautiful and you could smell very good too. I get like fragrance, I get like beauty, I get aware of time in some way, shape, or form, and not the same way that we have been told, okay? So whether like the Mayan calendar or the Draconian or whatever, I feel like you look at time quite differently. And an example would be like once upon a time, you know, I used to have a lot of people come to me for readings and they would ask, well, when is this going to happen? And I'm like, when you learn this lesson. And they're like, but when is that? And I'm like, well, it's when you decide you've had enough of this lesson and you want to move on to, you know, level 2 or whatever. And so it can be quite frustrating, even including myself when I put myself in those scenario situations. But you're a spiritual baddie because I feel like you understand that timing is almost like an inner timing thing. And it's like, all right, it's time I move off from this situation, or that I learned this, that, and the other. So you could have a different idea about timing overall. But the star card definitely denotes a lot of healing. You've done a lot of healing within. I'm looking at these like roses right at the wrist, something about that. Maybe you like to have perfume on your wrist or cologne or something like that. But then these to me seem like dinosaur or some kind of a skeletal remains, even though I don't think it's meant to be that way. So yeah, you could have shed a lot of skin and you could have had life level you to the bone and you've had to rebuild. It's been very difficult. And I just want to say that you are a spiritual baddie, and I want to reassure you that you're recognized in spite of not anyone maybe not saying anything, or people don't have a lot of good things to say about you because of jealousy or whatever, or they just don't want to give a compliment. Whatever the thing is, I feel like people have seen you rebuild your life, and that doesn't go unnoticed. And the impact goes far and wide, way further and wider than you ever would have believed. Okay, so why are you a spiritual baddie? Let's just get in here. Let us look. I feel like you fought with the devil and you have won. And there's something about you being a little bit like, interesting. I even saw like a leper. So maybe once upon a time, people would run from you because you had a lot of power within you. And it isn't that you didn't know how to wield it. Maybe you're just unaware of it entirely, but it could be a little bit like shocking or caustic for those that are unawakened, or for those that are not ready for that type of medicine, right? Yeah, you've had to fight your way through. I mean, I'm looking at this creature. It's like a face of almost like a dragon. And then I don't know if dragons have paws or whatever you want to call it, but it's like an upside down dragon facing this way. And it seems like at one point it was screaming. And so it's pushing everything away from itself in order to come out onto the surface. So it appears to me that once upon a time, the world could have just like kind of buried you metaphorically. Life could have buried you in a lot of pain and a lot of tradition and a lot of, I'm hearing recession. The recession could have buried you financially, mentally, emotionally. Others of you were cracked open and awake by that. quite unexpected. I definitely feel like this to me looks like a broom now. So some of you guys are really busy cleaning your spiritual arena, whatever that looks like to you. Maybe it's people you hang out with or the mentors that you have outgrown, things like that. Your spiritual body, because the weight of the world has been laid upon you. And I feel like you're now discovering how to get out from under that you understand that all the things are happening in the world, that you can choose not to be broken by that to an extent, right? That your mission here is to complete a mission and to help perhaps, but not to absorb all the sadness and the wrongfulness of this world, because it will not, you can't function like that. You can't do your duty that way, whatever your calling is. Now I'm seeing like a panda. Maybe you like pandas, or you're involved with ex trafficking, trying to break that up. Maybe you are a survivor, and if that is your story, then I am so happy that you survived. Looking at a child right here, and it's almost like breaking these. It reminds me of the Ten of Wands, right? That card where everything is laid upon your back. And I feel like as a young age, you had a lot laid upon your back that was very difficult to get out of. And I feel like people can't even begin to comprehend how difficult this was. Now, I'm watching a feather, literally a white feather, gently float up. I don't think I've ever seen that before, but that was pretty amazing. So I feel like, yeah, against all odds, including with the feather message just now, that you are somebody that in spite of all odds, you continue elevating, you continue succeeding, you continue changing. And in spite of, like, you may not be success according to how other people view it, but then why are the eyes all riveted? It's like 1, 2, 3, all eyes on me. Pile number 2. Your spiritual body, because you don't look at the world the same way as they do. You take your cues from spirit, from nature, from the things that have happened to you, from your inner dialogue. You could be self-taught. You could like to study, very studious. Pile number 2, if you're liking these kind of readings, take a moment to like, share, comment, subscribe. Also, don't forget to click that little notification bell if you haven't done so already. That will help you be notified when I drop further readings. Why are you a spiritual baddie? Sacrifice. Giving up something now for a future reward. What is that? I don't even know what that is. Ketchup? I'm all ketchup. I have no idea what this is. If you guys know what that is, I'd be interested. It looks like a cup. Maybe it's they're coffee mugs. I don't know. It look like a pan with like a long weird handle. Maybe it's just cups and I'm just seeing stuff. And then we have energy activation, disconnect through the divine, through meditation. Connect. I'm all disconnect. Connect to the divine through meditation and prayer. Yeah, so this one came out in another reading as well. So for all of your sacrifice that you're being acknowledged, I feel like publicly you're about to be acknowledged even more so than you ever have before. I think it's going to come as a surprise. I also think that you could have been in battle. You could have literally been in war, okay? Like what we commonly think of and see on TV as war. And if you have, I mean, my heart goes out to you. That's life-changing. There's no one can even have any words. I have no words, okay? But you could also have survived and superseded wars of your own, wars that are familial, generational curse breakers, that sort of thing. You could have survived wars on your own turf, wherever your own turf is, with rug rings and with ex-traffickers and all of that. So something about your life is incredibly deep. People are intrigued. People are becoming aware, okay? And that's part of your allure and part of what makes you a spiritual baddie. It's like, I feel like you're into fitness, like you're pretty fit mentally, emotionally, spiritually, maybe even physically. And people are shocked at how strong you are, how fit you are. And it reminds me of that time, in the year 2020, when we can't even really mention what happened, but y'all know what happened, where people are like, oh, you know, it's so difficult being by myself and stuff. And I feel like you thrive. So you, in spite of everything, you thrive. In spite of all the challenges, all the obstacles, all the blockages, all the being told no, you have faith in yourself. And I just want to tell you, continue having faith in yourself, because no one else will have faith in you unless you do. And I know it sounds simplistic, and some of you guys, very few, have had cheerleaders saying, yeah, you can do it. But I feel like most of you guys have had every single obstacle thrown out there in front of you and a lot of sabotage. So good for you being able to overcome that. You keep on keeping. Much, much love to you. Until next time, namaste.
Okay.
Hi, friends. My name is Griselle with Toughdolltarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 3, you chose this lovely image on the right-hand side of the screen, and your downloads go as follows. Why are you a spiritual baddie? This reading is inspired by the Oracle of Lilith. So if you've never seen her channel, definitely go check her out. I feel like you would absolutely love her. She is one of my favorite channels. And yeah, thought I would just tell you that. I lost my train of thought. So why are you a spiritual baddie? You could be, oh my gosh. Okay, I have to tell you, you could be a Fallout fan. It's hard for me to say. Or you could love gaming, games. You could love everything vintage or old-timey music. I bought that game for my son because I absolutely love like the graphics, and I love the music. And my son's like, yeah, that looks interesting. And I'm like, hell yeah, it does. So I definitely got it for him. But so you could be someone like that you get attracted or riveted on things that are just like unique or niche. You could be the talk of the town currently, by the way. You could be cutting edge. You could believe in astral projection. Pile number 3, you're a spiritual baddie because you could use AI or other unconventional or controversial, air quote, methods to do business, to do advertisement, or get your business ideas, your logos, whatever. You could be somebody that utilizes those same tools in order to get inspired as far as your wardrobe, things like that. Now, I also feel like if this is resonating, you would also be the kind of person that uses ChatGPT and uses it to its maximum, okay? So I feel like you're not just like, okay, ChatGPT, go ahead and correct my, business plan, or make it look like this, or make it funnier. I mean, there might be a little bit of something like that going on, but I feel like you have these like elaborate prompts that maybe you get from like TikTok or any social media, or your own ideas, and you would be using it like it's your best friend. Some people are using it as a boyfriend, girlfriend. Definitely 10 out of 10 do not recommend, but that's your life. So you could be asking ChatGPT things such as, what is my soul contract? Or analyze my eyes like an expert in iridology and tell me any health issues or things that a normal person in this field would tell me about my eyes. Okay. So also the last thing I got for you, pile number 3, is that you actually can sync to animals, or maybe perhaps you, I'm getting like Indonesia, but I don't know. You could live, I'm all abroad. Well, that's relative, right? You could live in a place where the language is very sing-songy, and something like that could be part of your MO, or you've adapted to it, or you're just like your tonality, or you're into music or anything like that. I don't know. I'm looking at like music and sound waves, and so something about you looking at different gadgets, like even tuning forks, and what is that clock when you do music, the timing of things, I forget what that's called too. So it could be any one of those things, but also calibration. I feel like you like to look at things and kind of calibrate them in order to really fit an aesthetic or fit your idea, or kind of make it better than what it is. Okay. So pile number 3, if this is the, or if this sounds like the, then go ahead and join me for the shuffle in your subsequent reading in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, welcome. If you're new here, I hope that you find something that's interesting or encouraging, preferably both. And for those of you guys that are indeed my repeat offenders, I am so grateful to have you here. Thank you so very much for all of your love, your support, your comments, even just energetically, even if you only comment like a heart or a star or whatever your favorite emoji is. I'm looking at a baby spider. Maybe that's a sign for you as well. Networking, I don't know. Anyways, moving on. Pile number 3. Why are you a spiritual baddie? I have to tell you also that I was incredibly excited to do your pile because that like Fallout song would not leave my mind. And if you don't know what it is, please do look it up. It's I don't know. I'll spare you the singing. Maybe if I remember, I'll put the link in the comments below or in the little description box so you can kind of follow it yourself. Yeah, so here we go. Why are you a spiritual baddie? The Mage. What? You have a lot of wisdom. You're divinely protected. Your third eye is wide open. You could definitely be somebody that they describe as an old soul. And that would make sense, right? Look at like the chandelier and like, what is this? Turban? I'm not entirely sure. But I'm looking at even like this wreath or whatever this flower decoration is too. And I feel like your knowledge and your wisdom is incredibly beautiful. It's pretty amazing. It amazes people. I feel like it brings also like a fragrant new beginning for people. It helps people to really understand maybe where they're at in life. Maybe they use you as a barometer, but I feel like you're the person, you're the go-to person. You're a spiritual baddie that people go, I don't know, but maybe pile number 3 is going to know all the things, simply because you have that air about you, that air of spiritual authority. And people love this in you. That's partially what makes you a spiritual baddie. What else do we have here? We have the 8 of Air. So 8 of Swords, yeah, people could get really caught up in their minds. And I definitely feel like you're a spiritual baddie because you too have been caught up in your mind. And this to me looks like a rubber band, like being held between hands. Like I actually have the nerve to come on camera with this on my wrist because I tend to play with rubber bands. I don't know why. So this to me looks like, you know, people would do this with a string, or maybe it was just me, my generation. I don't know, probably. But anyways, you could like to play with rubber bands, which is like the vibrational factor or the frequency or the sound or something like that. But something about you being kind of like old school and knowing how to do it. Like you could do a chicken pox. Dare I do it? I don't remember how to do it. Yeah, I definitely don't. Anyways, it doesn't matter. You get it. I'll spare you my reindeer games here. The 8 of Air definitely is somebody who has been in their head a lot. And I feel like you have an ability to really help untangle people's minds, help people to see how there are patterns of things. And if they can identify the pattern, they can usually think their way through things and out of things as well. So that's one thing. I'm looking at the 3 people right here. That's interesting. And it's maybe perhaps you're somebody who you understand that this only works getting trapped in your mind with your participation. If you refuse to participate, you're automatically free from the prison that's within your own mind. And when I think of the 8 of Swords, a lot I think about, yeah, like an inability to move forward or backwards or to see or make a move out of fear. So I think that fear is something that people really have when they come to you. People that are in fear, trapped in the matrix, people that have repetitive thought patterns or their frequency vibrates with you because you have the ability to heal. Not that you're on the same frequency like that, but you have this ability and they intuitively could know that about you. And so that's what makes you a baddie, is that you've been able to untangle your own thoughts and ideas and pull out of the matrix in a lot of different ways. And I feel like your life is a testament to that. Also, with all of this beautiful moon in the background, it's like all the mystery of the world and things like that ties back to the mage quite nicely, if I do say so myself, because I feel like you're in tune with your intuition, like very highly in tune. And you may not know the exact 1000%, but I feel like you can lead people on a path that they can find the magic to untangle themselves. So that's another thing. Pile number 3, why are you such a spiritual baddie? These cards are brand new to me. I'm so excited. 7 of Water. Seven of Cups. Yeah, so you have this ability. Here's a spider, by the way. So spiders definitely have a connection to you. You could have a connection to like Halloween. You could be witchy. You could be into, I don't know, like wet specimens. You could be into like reptiles as well. And that, how do you pronounce that? Anacrids? I don't know. Trying to use words I can't use here. Anyways, Seven of Water right here is illusions. They are dreams. They are aspirations. They are options. And because all three people are cloaked, it's almost like you help people. This is like mind, body, and soul to me. Okay. So I feel like you help people to really uncover whatever is their best path. Okay. Enunciate here. We enunciate our words carefully. We try anyways, not really. But I definitely feel like with the Seven of Water, you help bring people to the conclusion to the fact that there's always a choice one way or another. And not making a choice is a choice, by the way. That's something that I had to really wrap my head around. I had to hear it like 10,000 times and really digest it before I was able to accept it. So why are you a spiritual baddie? I feel like you utilize a lot of your own lessons in order to help teach other people as well. Yeah, a lot of teachers on my channel lately. That's awesome. If you're a teacher, say hey. So I'm looking right here, and all of a sudden it appears like this is the face of a lion with long hair. Not like lion's mane, but like human long hair, okay? So maybe perhaps you have long hair. Maybe perhaps you are a religion where you don't cut your hair, or you treat your hair as like an extension of like a radio antenna type of thing. Or there's like some, you know, traditional religious factors that you don't cut it, or you take care of it in a specific way. Some of you guys do hair rituals, like I think in India, where they do like oil on the scalp, and they like reserve a day where the moms can tend to the daughters and do this like ritual where they oil their hair and spend that time. So that could be a thing for someone. I think that's really beautiful, by the way. It's very cool. So what else do we have here? And I'm sure not everybody does that, by the way. So let's see. Yeah, I'm looking at like the side profile of a face, mouth, and eyeball right here. I feel like people could be split in opinion with you. I also feel like you could make moves almost like a horse, like you value your freedom. And that's what makes you a spiritual baddie. Also, some of you guys could really see like spirits and ghosts and things like that, because I'm seeing them right here in this lodolite shaman stone, whatever you want to call it. I see an owl. You have a lot of wisdom. That's reinforcing, you know, the mage right here. You utilize all of your resources and all of your wisdom. And I feel like because you're open-minded, because you see like potential in everything, that messages will come through for you anywhere. Also, to me, this looks to me like a confirmation, like AI. Like you could see like unidentified flying objects or UFOs or whatever you want to call that. To me, that looks almost like a mothership or something that you would see on a sci-fi channel. I don't know. Maybe like sci-fi, but that makes you a baddie, is that you can even connect with that. Look, here's another orb. Yeah, something about aliens, or I just heard alien abduction, maybe like watching shows like that, or you've been abducted. I mean, I don't know your life, right? Yeah, you have this ability to look at things deeply. And I'm also hearing that you're just now remembering your past lives, some of your past lives that you haven't remembered in a long time. I'm trying to bring this to the forefront here. I'm seeing that people take off their masks with you, whether they like it or not, but they do in the privacy of like when they feel safe, when it's kind of like, or maybe not even that. I feel like maybe when you're at a bar or when their defenses are low or something like that, they just take off their mask. Otherwise, it takes a while for them to unmask themselves. I see a dog here. Some of you guys do have a dog. Some of you guys have fish with like interesting fish. That looks like a fish to me. Some of you guys collect helmets of some sort. I don't know what that would be like. I'm seeing 300, like the movie 300. Some of you guys like to collect skeletal remains, like taxidermy. That's something different. But anyway, skeletons of animals or whatever. And then I see somebody right here watching you, and they're biting their nails. It's almost like, what is he or she gonna say? I don't know. Maybe you're known for what it is that you speak upon. And then also I see, is it a selkie? forget how to pronounce that. Yeah, you definitely have connection to like animals. Yeah, because you can sing to animals, or they're very sensitive to you, and vice versa. Even if you would not consider yourself, like, for example, like a dog person, but when you go around somebody's house, their dog loves you. Stuff like this. You could be also fascinated with the ocean, the water life, with diving, right? Diving into the ocean. Oh, cool. You could love to wear red lipstick, some of you guys. You could love to wear heavy eyeliner. Let's see another horse here. Yeah, you definitely have a history of having like a lot of freedom. Enjoy your freedom. And people can feel like you're not even of this earth at different times. And that's what makes you a baddie. It's like you're very open. You're very open-minded, very grounded, and you make no apologies. Even I see a face right here as well. So you could have a lot of looky-loos. Pile number 3, if you are enjoying this kind of reading, please do take a moment to like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to click that little notification bell where you get notified when I drop further readings. Pile number 3, where are you, spiritual baddie? Embrace. Find peace with your current state of being. I'm sorry. Hello. Okay. Here's my inner 12-year-old comes out. Is it maybe 12, 13-year-old? I don't know. I feel like I'm a 13-year-old boy in a female body. But I mean, look at where his head is. And it's like, okay, let's just say that you do comfort people, but I feel like people have a lust for you, right? Maybe they want to come to you as well because you have like a lot of this wisdom and the mage, and you do remarkable things, but then they find you hot and like smexy, and they want to get close to you, and they want to use any excuse, and including like doing like full-on frontal hugs or things like that, where you're like, whoa, way, ayo, you know. Maybe somebody here is a fan of happy days. I don't know. See what else we have going on. Release grudges, wounds, and pent-up feelings through healthy activities. Yeah, so you could be somebody who likes to enjoy time outside. Maybe the nature trails is your church or your religion or whatever. Or you could like spending time by the ocean and enjoying that part of life too. It's very important for you to like decompress and get rid of all of those feelings. And I feel like you've done a lot of work with releasing grudges and pent-up feelings through healthy activities. This is like through meditation. I'm all medication. Sorry. So yeah, Griselle loves to like release her pent-up feelings through medication. Total joke. I don't take anything, by the way, except for vitamins. Vitamins, my God said, take your vitamins now. So I am. But yeah, I feel like you've gone through a lot of different things. Oh, do we need 2 more? Because you don't see it right now, but these just like fell out of the deck. Why not? Okay. You teach people how to release, but also people want an intimate release with you. Take that however you will. Spiritual baddie. Okay. Sovereignty of air. So super smart. You're very intelligent. You make no bones about, I feel like you can assess, and you don't speak a lot on what you observe. There is no need to repeat everything that you observe. No need to tell people, you know what, I'm on to you. When you know, you just know. And sometimes it is even best to just file that away for a future moment, or for just more information, or simply because you observe doesn't mean that you have to do anything about it. And I feel like that's part of what makes you a spiritual baddie, is like people would say, well, they're just waiting for the right time to weaponize that. And I feel like that's not even true. But if you need to weaponize it, damn right you're gonna, because you can. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. So I feel like that's another reason why people are really, oh my gosh, these exact 2 were in another pile. So yeah, and sovereignty of fire. So willing to go play. This is freedom again. The motorcycle to me reminds me of like rebellion and freedom, and feeling the wind in your hair, although you should be wearing a helmet. Yeah, I'm judgy like that. But yeah, a little bit like that outcast mentality, a little bit of I'm going to do whatever, and I don't care what people think about it. A little bit of getting out of your head, getting out of the matrix, getting out of other people's heads, or releasing yourself in a way that you will not have to like act or behave like everybody else simply because that's how they do things. And I feel like it has taken work, and that's what makes you a spiritual baddie, is that you're not afraid to get in there and do the work yourself, for yourself and about yourself. And that's what inspires the masses around you. But I can't help but think that you guys are really hot as well, and quirky as F, and people just love this about you. So with that, much love. Until next time, namaste.